I'm James. I study environmental science at Hull University, and I'm in my final year. And I'll talk to you today a bit about geography, geology, and environmental science, student life, and a bit about Hull in general. Let's start by talking about Hull University. Hull University is extremely friendly and it is extremely welcoming. Um, Everywhere is open to you, everywhere is accessible, everyone is really kind, all the staff are always willing to help, and it's a really nice university to go to. But one of the apprehensions I had when I first thought about university was going to university, getting lost, because they can be quite intimidating when you look at the size of some of these campuses. But what an advantage of Hull is that the campus is really open and it's really easy to navigate. There are signposts everywhere, there are maps available, and when you get to specific buildings, there are actually signposts telling you where specific rooms are and where lecture theatres are. So it's quite difficult to get lost, but it's certainly still possible in my case. So then we go on to the facilities. So as you can see on the far right there, we have the Bryn Mawr Jones Library, which is, as it says, the library, and it has, I think, 7 floors of really nice facilities, loads of computers, loads of books, and it's a really good place to go and study. There's the Students' Union down at the bottom there, which has the shops, it has restaurants, and it has loads of stuff available for a student to use. And then obviously within certain buildings as well, you have laboratory space and you have computer space. So at these locations, you'll sometimes use them for timetabled work, or you can go to these computer rooms and do a bit of work if you don't really want to go into the library. So another thing about the university is it's an official partner of Team GB, which means that there might be some, for those of you who are more sporting orientated, there might be some opportunities at Hull University that you might not get elsewhere. And there is on-site accommodation such as the Courtyard, Westfield Court, and Taylor Court, which is on-site, so it makes getting to lectures really easy, especially for those early mornings. And then for second and third years, there is nearby living, which is pretty close as well. It's no big distance to get there. So social life, one of the most important aspects of university. There are lots of societies to choose from, and sports teams as well. So some of the examples I found was that there are American and English football teams that you could join, or netball teams. So there's choice there, and there are other options as well. In terms of societies, there is the Film Society, and then which is more sort of like a leisure society, I guess, where you go discuss films, watch films, I guess. And then the Marine Biology Society, which is more structured for whether you're doing this course or not. You could attend a Marine Biology Society even as just a passing interest, I imagine, but you would have to double check that with those people who run it. So in Hull University itself, you have a lot of nearby cafes and restaurants. So just down the road, there's a lot. And then in Hull City Centre, there are some specific ones. I think there's a Pizza Express, there's a Nando's. So there's a lot of facilities available to you. And then obviously one of the most important things is the nightclubs. So University of Hull has its own nightclub called Asylum, which is on site and available for students. However, nearby there is also Attic and Piper. There was also Welly, but I think that is struggling a bit due to coronavirus, but I'm not sure what the situation is on that. But that was also a really good club to go to, I heard. So a bit about Hull in general. So you might not know this, but Hull was the City of Culture in 2017. And as such, it has many art galleries and museums for those of you who are more culturally interested. So you've got the Ferrens Art Gallery and you've got the Wilberforce House, which you can visit. And there's 2 really high quality shopping centres. So there's St. Stephen's on the right there, and there's also Prince's Quay, which is like 5-10 minute walk away from St. Stephen's. The bus routes, which I've mentioned at the bottom of the slide, actually take you, if you follow it all the way into town, take you to the train station, which is next door to St. Stephen's. So it's like a 15-minute bus ride and then a 2-3 minute walk to get to St. Stephen's. So it's really, really well connected, the university to Hull. And then finally, in the bottom image there, you have the Deep Aquarium, which is one of the landmarks of Hull, I would say, in that it's very unique aquarium, which I've visited many times when I was younger, and it's still great to visit today. So to talk a bit about my degree, I'm an environmental science student, and this topic, it covers content. Really, it's like a jack of all trades, kind of. You do a bit of physical and human geography, you do a bit of geology, and then you do a bit of marine biology and just normal biology. So you get sort of like a wide range of knowledge coming out of this course. The lectures are relevant, for thought-provoking. Yeah, I really enjoy the lecture. And then what really tops it off is the practical sessions, which extremely fun. You go to various locations. Just recently, I went down to the River Hull, which is a COVID permitting field trip. We did all the safety measures, and I ended up chucking a bucket into a river for half a day, which doesn't sound fun, but the information we were getting from the samples we took was really, really interesting and something I really enjoy. So, as Jonathan mentioned, this course is accredited by the Institute of Environmental Science, and you get free student membership into the IES, and it can lead you on the path to becoming a chartered environmentalist or chartered scientist. And you can begin to start filling out your sort of CV on that website as well, of putting all the skills that you've learned, which looks really good. So as mentioned, field trips. One of the field trips you're going into the first year, hopefully, is Millport, which is field trip to off the coast of Scotland. It doesn't sound good, but it honestly really, really is. You spend a week studying various environments, from the coast to the marine environment to more terrestrial further inland, and you work together in a group, which is, as you can see there, my fellow environmental scientists, to gain key practical skills. And these skills aren't just to pass a test. These skills actually have wider CV value. You can put them on your CV, and then whatever you choose to go on in the future, if it's employment, you can put that you've learned or you've begun to learn some of these skills, which makes you look really good to an employer, because compared to someone who might not have these skills, that puts you at a bit of an advantage. It gives you a chance to see wildlife. Just behind me in that picture on the right, I saw a dolphin, and then further inland to Millport, I saw seals, which were literally just lay about staring at the sky. So you get a chance to see wildlife that you might not be able to see in Hull or where you currently live. And it honestly is, it's really good fun. And it was the best part of my first year. So going on to dissertations. So it's a dissertation is an opportunity to carry out your own independent piece of scientific research, and you are supported by a personal supervisor or specialist supervisor, of I've put, who will be highly informed about your topic and will be able to help and guide you through the process of your dissertation. So with mine, it's changed slightly because of coronavirus, but it is now, I'm investigating the water quality in tributaries of the Humber estuary. So I'm gathering a large amount of data of the various tributaries that feed into the River Humber, and analysing them for trends and patterns in the pollutants that go into it. And hopefully this data, which I can bring forward in my dissertation, will have a lot of informative and wider consequences, because if I can show variations in patterns or spikes and troughs, it can pose some really interesting management strategies. But you don't have to do it on something like that. There are options to do it on anything that you want to. So you could do something related to climate change, something related to ecology, or something related to anthropology. So, the option is there. And so long as you plan it right and get it all sorted beforehand, there is scope for a lot of different options there. So one of the key things I want to talk about with Hull University is the support and the personal supervisors. So these lecturers, academics who will support and guide you with assignments, but they're also there for your wider needs at the university. They can offer advice and direction to university facilities, but they're also someone who understands your personal situation. Sometimes I've said stuff to my supervisor where I'm feeling worried or I'm feeling anxious, and they've been able to calm me down and provide me with the guidance I need to really succeed at university. They can stay, well, they will usually stay with you throughout university, though I'm lucky enough that my personal supervisor and my dissertation supervisor are the same person. But what I would really like to emphasize is the Geology, Geography, Environmental Science department is extremely friendly, and they are so dedicated to helping you achieve your best. It sounds cliche, but I have not received as much anywhere else through my educational career, sort of, as I have at university. You kind of think that being thrown into university, you're going to be dropped into the deep end and you're going to be completely by yourself. But the support I have received at Hull University has been really just outstanding. I could not recommend this department enough, because it's just helped me so much throughout my university course. It's really, really great. Yeah. So my next steps. The big question at university is, where do you go afterwards? You kind of dropped off afterwards, but that's not the case at university, Hull University, sorry. So this Hull has helped sort of guide me towards what I wanted to choose. At the end of the second year, we had the choice. We got a bit of CV experience, and we could choose whether, or we were giving some thought to rather, whether we wanted to go on to do a master's or whether we wanted to go on and do work and stuff like that. So the University of Hull does support you in that process. My thoughts originally were to go on to do a master's. We don't know where COVID is going to lead that. I try not to plan more than a week in advance now. But yeah, I was thinking about Edinburgh University to do postgraduate study on a course called Environment and Development, which is something that seemed to be really interesting to me. However, it is important to realize that the qualifications and the skills you learn, be it on environmental science, geography, or geology, will provide you with skills and experience that will really help you get a job in the environment sector, or otherwise as well, it will hopefully give you that little bit of an advantage over another candidate who might not have those skills. So yeah, I can't recommend Hull University enough. It's really, really is a great place to study.